Alright, so in order to create a realistic automobile path following, what we're going to do is delete all of the objects in our new Blender file and insert a plane. And I'm going to zero everything out. So it's in the center. And now we've got a plane in here. I'm going to scale this up a tad bit, give us some working room. And what I'm going to do is create the path with not a Bezier curve, but a NURBS curve. I find them easier to manage between the two. So we'll start with the NURBS curve, and we will select it in object mode, go to edit mode, and basically, oh, I didn't select it. Here we go. There we go. And we're going to extrude this into some form of a oval or a circle, just so you get the basic idea. And this is just rough. This is just to get the idea. And this is going to eventually be the path that a object will follow. And what I'm going to do now is insert another object, another plane, and this will eventually follow this NURBS curve once I have all of the modifiers set for it. Well, I want to set the modifiers right now. We're going to add a modifier and add a curve modifier, and we are going to link that to the object curve because that's the name of our NURBS curve by default, and apply that in object mode. And now if you notice, our plane is up here and it's almost distorted in a way. However, you can see these buttons down here, X, Y, and Z. We'll keep this on X, and then we'll drag our arrow over. You can see now that our plane is following this NURBS curve fairly nicely. Of course, if we go off the side, it's just going to go off into oblivion, but it follows this curve nicely. And I found this to be a really easy and effective way to produce a, say, scene animation for an automobile to follow a set path on the map, as, say, an introduction animation or something of the sort, or even just a path to follow during the game, its initializing steps, etc. But as you can see, along the x-axis, if I drag this arrow, I drag the object doesn't move along the x-axis, it's stuck to the object curve, which was made with the NURBS curve mesh. Alright, so now we have our mesh following this NURBS curve, which is working fairly nicely. However, let's picture this mesh as, say, one of the wheels of the car. And in this case, we would want this mesh to rotate in correlation with the speed, and also leaning for the corners and whatnot, give it more of a realistic feel and look. And as you can see, all it does right now is follow the curve. So what we can do is go in and start animating this. And what I'm going to do is split the area. So I have two views here. Split area. And go into our IPO curve editor. And what I want to do is down here specify the current frame, and we're going to start at 1, obviously, and hit I, and we're going to insert a key that specifies the location, the rotation, and scale of our mesh. And that will start us off in the IPO curve editor, specifying all of this in here as dual reference, these lines representing the rotation, the location, and the scale. Now, say I want this animation to last 200 frames. I will specify that by clicking around the 200 frame. Well, we're at 201. Put it at 200. And what we'll do is drag this all the way to the end here, and also might as well rotate it. And we will end this 200 frame animation by inserting the last key, location, rotation, and scale, which specifies the ending location, rotation, and scale of the mesh. And you can see over here that we have this nice curve going on here, and you'll see what this does as soon as I play the animation. Alt A is the shortcut, but if I hit Alt A, you can see as this block follows a curve, it's also rotating. And what we can do in a curve editor is specify the speed at which it rotates and how many times it rotates, which is a really nice feature. And in my semi-finished model, you will see that this comes to fruition fairly nicely.